Hello, this is Dr. Panigrai. Welcome to my biology classes for medical entrance examination. In this session, I have a talk about the muscular tissue. Especially, I will talk about the skeletal muscle. Let's start the general character of muscular tissue. General character of muscular tissue. The muscular tissue actually originated from mesoderm. That's why these are the mesodermal in origin. The muscular tissue composed of so many muscle cells or the muscle fibers. These muscle fibers are also known as myofibers. Such tissue, there is no intercellular substances. There is no intercellular substances or secretions. Such muscular tissue, it has the power of contraction and the relaxation. So the contractibility is the characteristic features of the muscular tissue. Contractibility is the characteristic features of muscular tissue. So because of the contraction and the relaxation, the organism can move from one place to another place. The cytoplasm of muscle cells or the muscle fiber, these are known as the sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm. The muscle cell, it is the storehouse of the minerals potassium. Abundantly, potassium ions are present in muscle cell. The endoplasmic reticulum in muscle tissue or the muscle cell, which is known as the sarcoplasmic reticulum and which forms T-tubules. Which forms T-tubules. These are the character of the muscular tissue. Now come to the types of muscular tissue. On the basis of structure, on the basis of nature, on the basis of function, the muscles or the muscular tissues are three types. It may be skeletal muscle, the another one is the smooth muscle, and third one is cardiac muscle. So these are the three types of muscles are present in animals. So come to the skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle, they are named as because such muscles actually or usually associated with bones. That's why these are known as the skeletal muscle. Such skeletal muscle also known as somatic muscles. Because such muscles actually present in our somatic part of the body. So these are known as the somatic muscles. Such muscles also known as the fatigue muscle. Because after prolonged exercise, such muscles get tired or get fatigued. That's why it is known as the fatigue muscles, but it can again activate or it can again works after some rest. That's why it is known as the phagic muscle. Phagic muscles, because it phase wise can work. That's why it is known as the phagic muscles. Such muscles also known as the voluntary muscle. Voluntary muscle, because the movement of such muscles actually under the control of the will of the organisms. That's why it is known as the voluntary muscle. If you observe under the microscope, then you find so many light and dark bands are present on the surface of such muscles. That's why such muscles known as the striated muscle. Striated muscles, because number of striations are present on the surface of the muscles, and number of strips, means light and dark strips are present on the surface. That's why it also known as the striated muscle. So it has so many names according to their nature, according to the structure, according to the functions. This is the skeletal muscles. Such skeletal muscles actually form our somatic part of our body. Let's come to the structure of skeletal muscle. Suppose that this is the arm showing the bundle of muscles, the arm swing bundle of muscle. If you take such muscle, then you find such muscles. This is the skeletal muscle, which actually attached with bone through a connective tissue, and such connective tissue is known as the tendon. So by means of tendon, such muscles attached with the bone. If you take the magnified section of such muscles, then you find that such muscles actually composed of so many muscle cells, and these muscle cells are cylindrical in structure and arranged in parallel manner. These are elongated, cylindrical in structure. That's why these muscle cell is known as the muscle fiber, or it also known as myofiber. Inside the muscle cells, there are so many fibular structure, and such fibular structures are present inside the cytoplasm of the muscle cells, and these are the nuclei. If you take the magnified section, then you observe the detailed picture of such muscle cell. This is the magnified section of muscle cell. Such muscle cell which have so many nuclei, that's why it is the multinucleated. The muscle cell, it is surrounded by the plasma membrane known as sarcolemma. This is known as sarcolemma. Inside the muscle cell, there is the cytoplasm known as the sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm contains the sarcoplasmic reticulum, the number of nuclei, and it also contains the number of fibrillar structure. These fibrillar structure having light and dark bands, and these structure are known as the myofibrils. These are known as the myofibrils. It is multinucleated cell and which shows the sinusotic condition or the syncytial condition. The cell which have so many nuclei, such condition is known as the sinusotic condition or the syncytial condition, and you observe such nuclei clearly because they are present at the peripheral region. On the surface of such muscles also you find light and dark bands. Suppose that these are the dark band, and this also a dark band, and such light band, this is the dark band, this is the light band, this is the dark band. These light and dark bands actually present alternately because such bands actually form because of the bending myofibrils are present inside the muscle cell. If you take the larger view of the myofibril, then you find this is the myofibril, and such myofibril has dark band and the light band. Those are present alternately. If you observe such band in a monochromatic light, then such dark band produce the anisotropic band. That's why it is known as the A band. Such region is known as the A band. And the lighter area in monochromatic light which forms the isotopic band, that's why it is known as the I band. So A band, and this is the I band, and this is the A band, which are present alternately. If you take the another magnified vision of the myofibril, then you find that such dark band actually forms, this is the magnified structure, such dark band of the A band actually formed because of the presence of thick filament. So this is known as the A band because of the thick filament, and this is the lighter area, this is another thick filament. Let me erase it. I have to draw another. This is, suppose that this is the another bundle of thick filament. These are the thick filament, form the A band, alternate to the I band, A band, then I band, then A band. And the I band actually forms because of the presence of thin filament. So this is the thin filament. This is the thin filament which surround the thick filament. They are present in this manner. Please see the arrangement of such thick and thin filament. So green colored structure is the thin filament which surround the thick filament. The black colored, this is the thick filament, and this is the thin filament. So they are present in such manner. The I band, it bisected by one line, and this line is known as the Z line. This is known as Z line, or known as Krauss membrane, or it also known as Dobbe's membrane. So in between two Z lines, the area which is known as the sarcomere. Sarcomere, it is the unit of muscle contraction. It is the unit of muscle contraction. So this is another Z line, and there is another Z line which bisect the I band. If you observe, at the middle of the A band, there is another lighter area. There is only thick filament present, not overlapping of thin filament. There is no overlapping of thin filament. This lighter area, this is known as H zone. This portion is known as the H zone. This is known as the H zone. This portion is known as the H zone. Or this is the Hansen's zone. Such H zone again bisected by another line. This is known as the M line. This is known as M line. So H zone, it is bisected by another line which is known as the M line. If you observe, then you find there is the overlapping portion of thin filament, thick filament, thin filament, thick filament, and such portion, this is known as the O zone. This portion is known as the O zone. This is O zone. O zone, Z-O-N-E. This portion or O region. This portion is the O zone, O band, O region. Whatever you can say, this is the O zone. If you observe, side of the Z line, side of the Z line, this is the Z line, this is the Z line. The side of the Z line, there is no overlapping of thick filament, and this region is known as the N zone. This region is known as the N zone. So this is the microscopic structure of the myofibrils which present inside the muscle cell. Now come to the such filament. So we find two types of filaments are there. One is the thin filament, another is the thick filament. Such thin filament actually composed of actin protein, and the thick filament which is composed of myosin protein. The actin protein, there are several types like alpha actin, like beta actin, like G actin, like F actin. The myosin, this molecule, it has two regions. This is the heavy region, this is known as the heavy meromycin, and myosin protein, this is the lighter, the tail portion is the lighter area, this is known as the light meromycin. The myosin protein is more contractile than the actin protein. In mollusk, there is the movement actually only by the presence of the myosin protein, or only by the action of myosin protein. So such heavy meromycin which provide the attachment site of actin. So it provides the actin attachment site and the ATPase activity site at the time of muscle contraction. So at the time of muscle contraction, such heavy meromycin provide the actin binding region. Beside this protein, there is another protein, some are the troponin and tropomyosin. These are the other proteins also present in muscles. Muscles also contains another protein which is known as the myoglobin. Which actually carry the oxygen like hemoglobin in muscles. That's why it is known as the muscle hemoglobin. So this is the structure of the microscopic structure of the myofibrils, or the skeletal muscle cell. At the time of muscle contraction, such myosin and actin form a complex ectomyosin. Now come to the histology of such skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscle means a group of muscle cell or group of myofiber. A group of myofiber or the bundle of myofiber actually known as this is the histology of muscular tissue. The group of myofiber or muscle fiber, this is known as the fasciculus. Suppose that this is the muscle. Muscle means the number of muscle fibers or myofibers here present. The such muscle covered by at outer side, or externally is covered by the outer layer of muscle, which is covered by actually the connective tissue layer, which is known as the epimysium. Epimysium wraps around the number of fasciculi. Suppose that these are the These are the single fasciculus. This is another fasciculus. This is another fasciculus. This is another fasciculus. So this is the fasciculus. Such fasciculus, this is the fasciculus, and such fasciculus externally covered by a connective tissue layer. Such connective tissue layer is known as the perimycium. Perimycium. Such fasciculus contains so many muscle cells. Suppose that these are the muscle cells. These are the muscle cells. Each individual muscle fiber or myofiber which is covered by another connective tissue layer is known as the endomycium. This is known as the endomycium. And as you know that each muscle fiber contains the myofibrils. So these are the myofibrils. These are the muscle cell or myofiber. These are the single fasciculus. These are the single fasciculus. So actually muscle means a group of muscle cells, the bundle of muscle cells. The outermost covering of the muscle is the epimycium, made up of the connective tissue. A group of muscle is known as the fasciculus. The outermost covering of fasciculus is the perimycium, and the individual muscle cell, these are the myofiber. These are the myofiber. These myofiber, individual myofiber, externally covered by another connective tissue layer. This is known as the endomycium, and the total structure, this is the TS of or section of muscle, or you say that this is the histology of the muscular tissue. I hope you enjoy this session. If you like, then click on my next session to get the another portion of this chapter. Thank you for clicking.